What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Same Philly Sports History for November 5th, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. It is game day. It is Eagles Dallas. Let's get right into it. So, to recap yesterday's question of the day, lots of interesting takes on what everybody's favorite Eagles Cowboys moment was. The one that got the most votes was the 44-6 back in 2008. When the Eagles needed all the stars to align to even have a shot, and then it was a winner-take-all for a playoff spot against the Cowboys. 4th and 1 got a lot of votes. Bounty Bowl, the Thanksgiving beatdown. I'm assuming that the first one was Bounty Bowl when they played on Thanksgiving. The other one was like a few years later. I think it was like 2000. It was Chip Kelly, I believe. But the Eagles beat them on Thanksgiving that day, too. The 11 sack game against Troy Aikman in 1991 got one. Just so many to choose from. I think personally, I feel like Bounty Bowl is it's my first real Eagles-Cowboys memory anyway. That's probably the one I'm going to have to go on. But thank you again for everyone for getting your information to me. We will have another question of the day today. But more on that once we get into our Eagles coverage. Good win for my Temple Owls yesterday. They won 32-18 over Navy. That gives them 3 wins now with 3 games left. And they have to win out in order for us to win that over 5 wins bet. If they win 2 of 3, we'll push. It is doable. They have South Florida, UAB, and Memphis. Memphis is probably the toughest game of the bunch, but we'll see. Excuse me. Like I said, it's frustrating. We talked about that on Halloween, how far they've fallen, but it is what it is. But good win for the Owls. I will take it. EJ Warner is just so inconsistent, and if he could just, I don't know, maybe next year as a junior he might be able to put it all together, and they might be able to have maybe a run at a small bowl, but we'll see. Housekeeping note, check out the latest Back to the Future. We take a look at the rise and the fall of the Philadelphia Athletics. That is available wherever you get your podcasts as well as YouTube. That's Back to the Future with a PH. All right, Sixers, good win for them. 112-100 over the Suns. They pretty much led the whole way. Joe had 26. Kelly Oubre had 25. Tyrese had 22 and a career-high 10 assists. And I like the way he played in the second half. Apparently, I guess Nick Nurse challenged him and said, you need to play better. And he really stepped up and helped lead that comeback. He got hot there, especially in the fourth quarter as they were pulling away. I really think we have a superstar in the making right there. I know he's not necessarily a true point guard. He's like more of like an undersized shooting guard, but I mean, 10 assists. I like he's been playing well this season. And Oubre, I think with that chip on his shoulder and trying to come in and really play for a contract, that's a good sign there. I really like him. Excuse me. I apologize for that. I don't know if I'm getting a cold or allergies here. But overall, I like the way this team is playing. I think it's fair to sort of be all in on this team. Again, I'm not ready to say they are a championship contender. I do think they're probably top 3, top 4 in the East, especially because they're playing so well now. And I think as they get used to Nick Nurse's system, it's going to get better. They're so set up perfectly for what's happening. But Nick Nurse is a guy that coming in, they said he was going to maximize what the players were able to do. And right now they got 4 guys averaging 20 points a game: Maxey, Joe, Oubre, and Toby. And anything you get from Toby this year is a bonus. Excuse me. I apologize for the throat clearing. But I mean, I like where this team is going. So enjoy the win. They are now, I believe, 4-1, 5-1, right there near the top. They've haven't played the best competition, but again, learning that system, that's good. I want to see them now against some of the top teams in the East. But good win for the Sixers. Go to phillygoat.com. They have some Sixers shirt, and as the season goes, I'm sure they'll be adding more. Big announcement coming from them next week, so stay tuned for that. But Sixers aren't your thing. Go Flyers. I'm telling you, now's the time to get in on the Flyers, so you can be like, yeah, I knew that. Union playing in the playoffs. They still have those Believe shirts, the stuff for the Phils. Get them now so you can have them for next year because the Phillies will be back. It is holiday shopping season. Go to phillygoat.com, your one-stop shop for all your Philly sports-based apparel. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. And stay tuned for a special announcement next week. But that's phillygoat.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery, 10% off of your order. All right, speaking of those Flyers, they had a stinker yesterday, losing 5-0 to the LA Kings. The Kings are a good team. Flyers were without, obviously, Carter Hart in goal. And just kind of a young team game, like struggling. They couldn't, I think they were 0 for 3, 0 for 4 on the power play. Couldn't get a goal. So you're going to have games like this, especially against the better teams with the young Flyers team. But they look to bounce back to that. But as I mentioned, it is Eagles-Dallas game. It is that day. It is finally here. The worst part about this day is waiting until 4:25 in order to get there. But let's take a look first at our bet. We are 6-4 on the season. Right now, the spread is -3. The over-under is 47. I have a lean. We might be coming in with 2 plays. But this is the start of that. Everybody's been talking about it since the schedule came out. This is that part of the schedule. You got Dallas, the bye, KC, Buffalo, San Fran, Dallas, and the Seahawks. Excuse me. I really, worst case, the Eagles need to be 3-3 during this stretch. 4-2 would be great. 5-1 would be outstanding, but I think the way they're playing, you need to start with a win today. And I think we're about to learn a lot about Sean Desai today. What he did and the game plan he had for Miami was outstanding. And I'll be completely honest with you, I would say that Miami's offense is better than Dallas's. So at least with Miami, they had some semblance of a run game. Tony Pollard has not done much. So I think what that does is you have Jalen Carter, you have Jordan Davis. Both of them are playing with going to keep that line fresh. I think let them do their thing, clog up those running lanes, and then it allows you to drop more guys back in coverage and not let CeeDee Lamb beat you. I really think this is what's going to happen. Offensively, I think the Eagles are going to be fine. They're even when they're not quote unquote looking and playing their best, they're doing well. I will say they're not going to be able to lose the turnover battle today and still win. This is not a team like Washington where they're going to be able to get away with it. But I think they've been focusing on that. They're going to take care of the ball today. And I've tried to look at this as objectively as possible and look for any way that the Cowboys can beat the Eagles. I can't see it. Not today, not at Lincoln Financial Field, not at 425, not with everything that's been going on. I can't see it. I think we're going to learn. Desai is going to step up and be into the elite conversation, I think, as a defensive coordinator. And I know that's saying a lot. But I think if he comes out with another game plan like he had against Miami, game over. Stop the run, force that, contain CeeDee Lamb. That's all you need to do. He's going to get his. Just contain him. And then offensively, I think everybody's talking about the run and not being able to run. I think the way the Eagles were passing, I think they're going to attack. I look for DeAndre Swift to have a big game today, maybe 100 yards and a touchdown. But I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be close. It's Eagles-Cowboys. Most of the games, when the teams are good, are not necessarily blowouts. It's going to be one of those games where it's tight and the Eagles pull away late. Going 2 bets today. We're taking the Eagles minus the 3, and I'm taking the over 47. Might be a little sweaty there for the over, but I think that we see like a 30 to 24 game, something in that range. And I think we, for the most part, get over that 47 fairly easily. Like I said, I think the offenses are too powerful in this game to go with the under, but definitely take the Eagles minus the 3. I think just the way that they're playing, since that Jets loss, they've been getting better. I think they're just going to be too much and overmatch the Cowboys today. We head into the bye week with an 8-1 record and get ready for that gauntlet of the next 5 weeks. But let's start it off today with a win. Eagles minus 3, over 47. While you're at it, got to wait till 425. It's part of the season where some of your fantasy teams might be out. Need something to do? Go check out the Clashing Conferences podcast. Great episode this week. Greg was back. The trash talk between him and Randy was great. So go check out Clashing Conferences podcast wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. Hook my boys up. All right, sticking with an Eagles theme now from here on out. And on this day back in 2005, the Eagles versus Terrell Owens situation came to a head. And on this day, the Eagles suspended him for contract detrimental to the team. We talked about it a couple weeks ago where he said they were classless for not recognizing his 100th touchdown. He got in a fight with Hugh Douglas. He made the comments about Donovan McNabb and Brett Favre. And this is all after the whole training camp fiasco when he was doing the sit-ups in his driveway. Next question, that thing, and all that good stuff. The suspension came one day before the Washington game, and at the time the Eagles were 4-4. Eventually, they suspended him for a total of 4 games and then said, "Do not come back." They went 4-4, but the season, the wheels fell off of that season as they finished 6-10. And just was a complete and total disaster. T.O. was out. I believe he went to Dallas from the Eagles. Yeah, I guess that was the next stop, was Dallas. But on this day, back in 2005, the Eagles suspended Terrell Owens, effectively ending his career as an Eagle, leaving us all with the question of what may have been. But it was a magical year and a half, but it just was not meant to be. But you know what is meant to be? Carcan.com. You guys have been doing a great job supporting them. I just saw on their site that they're getting close to selling out in time for Christmas. So be sure to go carcan.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off for 20% off of your order. You can also follow the link in the description. It's a trash can. It's a storage bin. It's a cooler. Go to carcan.com. The more you buy, buy over 5, you get free shipping. You buy in bulk of packs of 8, you get discounts, all kinds of good stuff. Perfect holiday gift for the people in your office. Go to carcan.com. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery 20 off, all one word, for 20% off of your order. Get it now for the holidays before they sell out. All right, speaking of trash, sticking with our disappointing Philadelphia athletes of all time today. I told you we're sticking with the Eagles. We have another Eagle today, and it is one Freddie Mitchell. Yes, Fred X, all disappointing, made the all disappointment team here in Philadelphia. He was a first-round pick, number 25 overall out of UCLA in 2001. He did come out of UCLA as an All-American, just never lived up to the hype. In 4 years in Philly, he went 90 receptions, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 touchdown pass in 2003 to Brian Westbrook. Again, that would have been a great one season. The fact that it took him 4 to do it just goes to show just how much he did not live up to the hype. Now, there was a lot of talk with him and a lot of hype, but he did deliver some great memories. Obviously, he was on the receiving end of 4th and 26, lots of first downs with the People's Championship belt. He did it before Aaron Rodgers did it when he said, "I'd like to thank my hands." He had that great catch, and this is Eagles Dallas week. One of the memories that nobody talked about because it kind of gets lost in the shuffle, I think, of all the other great moments was McNabb's 11-second scramble where he threw the bomb to Freddie Mitchell, and he did the People's Champion. Probably best known for, other than 4th and 26 and having a lot of mouth, prior to the Super Bowl against New England, he disrespected the Patriots secondary, saying, I don't know their names, only their numbers. And then he gave the wrong numbers, said he had something for Rodney Harrison. Just not what you wanted to do going into that game, is giving them any type of motivation. Bill Belichick flat out said he's terrible. We were glad when he was in the game because of that. That's how bad he was. But Freddie Mitchell, one of the most all-time disappointing Philadelphia athletes who came in with a ton of hype. And I don't know if you're ready for this, especially on the Eagles Dallas week, but here are a list of 4 receivers that could have been chosen within a round and a half of where Freddie Mitchell was after the Eagles picked Steve Smith, Reggie Wayne, Chad Johnson, and Chris Chambers. Yep. Just kind of leave it at that. But I'd like to thank my hands for being so good. But all-time disappointing team member for our focus of Philly's most disappointing athletes, Freddie Mitchell. And I met him a couple times. He is a nice guy, but just did not deliver on the field, especially when you could have had a Steve Smith. But, hey, such is life. And again, he was finally released in 2005. Ironically, he was released April of that season before all the shit hit the fan with T.O. But Freddie Mitchell, the people's champ, is today's most disappointing Philadelphia athlete. Speaking of disappointing, I could have made the list if it wasn't that his season wasn't so great. But on this day in 2005, T.O. was officially suspended by the Eagles, effectively ending his Eagles career before he moved on to play for the Cowboys. Our pick for the Eagles game today, speaking of Eagles-Cowboys, Eagles -3, take the over 47. We're going all in on both. You want to parlay them together, tease them, whatever you got to do. I'm going to do all 3. I'm taking them both separate. I'm going to parlay them, and I'm going to tease it. Let's go. Here we go. It's F Dallas week. Let's go. But it's going to be a beautiful day. Get some yard work done before that game starts. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. I'm Jim Montgomery. Go enjoy your Sunday, and until next time, go Birds.